On February 12, 1909, Ida M. Tarbell delivered her speech at the University of Michigan in commemoration of the centennial of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. In this speech, Miss Tarbell states her case that each one of us has within us the potential to be an Abraham Lincoln. The title of this essay is "We Could All Be Abraham Lincolns." Miss Tarbell asks initially, why do we try to make Abraham Lincoln a hero, a myth, or a demagogue? Why do we make his success destiny? Well, when we do that, we save face. Why do we make him a myth? Well, we excuse our non-achievement. And she asks, was he lucky? Was he a genius? Was it his fate? Was he a favorite of the gods? In her analysis, she basically comes to the conclusion that Abraham Lincoln had a love of fair play. He had good sense, shrewdness, kindliness, directness, and a touch of mysticism. Ida M. Tarbell delivers a centennial speech that highlights Abraham Lincoln as an individual who first has value to mankind as a man, not as a myth or a demagogue. Secondly, that Abraham Lincoln sought new knowledge with his whole mind, heart, and soul, and he sought this new knowledge to confront the old knowledge that was out there that he was meeting. He expressed his insights so a child could understand. He didn't believe that he had captured and truly understood a concept until he could express it so simply that anybody could understand. Abraham Lincoln also compensated for human nature's abilities and limitations. He knew that men are limited, and he understood how to handle those limitations as a leader. He was forever the observant, diligent, and confident student. His whole life, he was a student of men and ideas. And one of the ways that he accessed those ideas is that he had public opinion baths to acquire new knowledge. So many people became upset because he opened the doors of the White House and invited the public in to give him a bath on their opinions of what he was doing. And he captured that knowledge, that new knowledge, and challenged the old concepts that he had with this new input that he was getting. Abraham Lincoln was faithful to his informed convictions. He was one of the hardest men. Once he had truly studied and analyzed a situation, an idea, and came to a conviction, he held on to those convictions. Abraham Lincoln also planted, watered, and patiently awaited the bloom as he worked with people for them to understand the conclusions and the convictions that he came to. Ultimately, Abraham Lincoln studied men to understand them, accept them, and having understood and accepted them, motivate them to move forward. You know, people think about John F. Kennedy as gathering the best and the brightest, but in our history, Abraham Lincoln was one of the first presidents who gathered around him society's best and brightest. Keeping them together was hard, but that was one of his talents because he understood human nature. And finally, Abraham Lincoln has true value to those who see him as a man who adapted processes within his life that enabled him to truly become what today many people consider a hero or a myth or even a demigod. This speech, which was delivered more than 100 years ago, has a wonderful relevance today, especially now as we look for executive leadership in our economic, political, and spiritual affairs. For those who can once again unite us rather than separate us, we should be looking not for Abraham Lincolns, but for those individuals who typify what Miss Tarbell classified as Abraham Lincoln's typically American endowments: good sense, shrewdness, directness, a love of fair play, and kindliness. Thank you for watching and listening to Ida M. Tarbell's We Could All Be Abraham Lincolns.